Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Freshman Feature. I'm Steven Osentoski of Maize and Brew, bringing you episode 2. Today we're covering the 4-star safety out of New Jersey, RJ Moten. Thanks to everyone for their suggestions on episode 1, covering Matthew Hibner. You can find that video up here, as well as in the description below. Thanks to everyone for their suggestions for RJ Moten. Make sure you participate in the poll above to ensure that you get your vote in for who I cover in episode 3 of this series, as well as commenting below with any suggestions that I don't mention, or just if you want to get another vote in, go ahead and leave your suggestions. I may feature them in the next video. Without further ado, let's get into episode 2 here, RJ Moten. RJ went to Delran High School out of New Jersey. He was a 4-year starter in both football and baseball. He'll be playing both at Michigan as well. For football, he led his team to an 8-2 record with a sectional title win in the quarterfinal. In baseball, he played both pitcher and center fielder. He'll be playing outfield at Michigan. He was a 2-time first-team All-South Jersey selection for baseball. For football, he played safety, running back, returner, quarterback, wide receiver, pretty much anything you could, he played it. Looking at his stats, given he played 2 sports, there's a ton here, so I'll throw them all on the screen. His senior year, he had 61 tackles, a couple tackles for loss and 2 picks, over 300 rushing yards and 6 rushing touchdowns, 7 receptions for over 100 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. He had 5 picks his junior year and 13 pass breakups, a ton more offensive output his junior year, where he had over 13 yards rushing and 16 touchdowns. Just about 300 yards receiving and 4 touchdowns. He also threw a pair of TDs his junior year as well. Looking at his baseball stats, in his senior season, he put up a .508 batting average with 25 RBIs, 28 runs scored, and 13 stolen bases. Keep in mind that's only 23 games, so that's pretty impressive. For 2018, all I could find was a .514 batting average, which is pretty insane. Looking at his metrics, his 40 is 4.62. That would put him middle to lower of the pack of the 2020 NFL Combine draftees. So it's acceptable for a safety. Definitely not on the elite side there, but it's acceptable for a safety. He had a 4.31 for his shuttle. Again, that's an acceptable time. That would put him middle of the pack for 2020 NFL draft. His vertical, however, of 40.9, that would put him 4th among safeties overall in the most previous combine. So that's an elite, very, very good vertical. Looking at his rankings, Rivals has him as a 3-star, no national ranking there. They have him as an athlete, 28th overall and 15 in the state of New Jersey. ESPN 247, both a little higher on the 4-star scale here, where 247 has him as 178th nationally, 16 safety, and number 5 New Jersey. That brings his composite to right around 250 overall, mid-20s safety, and 7 in New Jersey. All surfaces have him around 6 foot, 200 pounds. For his recruitment, so he had Rutgers as his first official offer back in January 2019. It was a steady stream of offers after that. Rutgers also got RJ Moten's first visit. Michigan came along with an offer in April later that year, 2019. Penn State had a visit in May of that year as well. He had an unofficial visit to Michigan where the coaches were blown away with the workout that he had there. They believe he has higher upside than just about anyone at the position. In late June of 2019, Moten announced that he'd be committing on July 27th. That happened to be the Michigan barbecue at the Big House starting that day. Lo and behold, he was the first commit of the barbecue week recruiting weekend that Michigan holds. Michigan's recent success in baseball was a huge factor in pulling RJ Moten, who obviously wanted to play both. He was a guy who was projected to be a single-round draft pick in this year's MLB draft. Given it was restricted to only 5 rounds, he was not drafted, so he will not be a guy pulled away right away for his baseball aspirations, but he's a guy who has legit pro baseball potential. Looking at his offers, he had quite a few high offers. He had Penn State, Notre Dame, Minnesota, Rutgers, Kentucky, Pitt, Duke, Virginia Tech, and West Virginia. I like seeing that Duke offer. He also had Princeton and Columbia, so obviously a high academic guy as well, with the higher athletic schools like Penn State, Notre Dame also in the mix there. For his scouting, so he's a legacy. His father, Ron, played linebacker in the NFL for the Eagles, I believe. He has high praise from his dad, who says that RJ is a better athlete than he was in high school. RJ Moten attended the opening regional in early 2019, where he was honorable mention top performer from 247. He was actually there mainly as a receiver, where he was quoted as being a smooth in his breaks and explosive out of them, separated well, and was sure-handed. He was the best combine performer at the event as well. So his build could ticket him early for the Viper, given he's already 200 pounds. He wants to play like Sean Taylor, and he watched how Peppers played the Viper position, and that appealed to him at Michigan as well. High character guy, so he gave up a lot of his Sundays to work at youth football events, which is really, really good to see. And he also offers a lot of his time for community service, so that's obviously highly commendable. He's a thick, muscular build, shouldn't have to add that much mass and strength at a college level. Impressive range and physicality combination. Could play 4 to 5 positions in college. I absolutely agree with that, especially able to use speed and instincts well while sitting in zone coverage. Has a long, easy stride. So those are his upsides. Some of the things he needs to improve on. Needs to hone his coverage technique and has inexperience in man-to-man coverage. Wasn't asked to do a whole lot of that. Okay, let's get right into his film here. Some tackling clips here. Surprisingly, not a whole lot of film on this aspect of his game. Still need to see him working through contact to see if Viper roll would be the best option. He tends to go low and wraps up ball carriers' legs, so hitting high isn't really an issue for him. Last clip that you'll see is a nice form tackle that does cause a fumble. I just want to see more here. So it seems like he can bring the physicality. I just want to see more of it, and something that was a little strange to be missing from his film. A few clips of coverage here. Again, only a few clips. It's a little strange. A pick on this first clip. He has good hands, plenty of time spent on offense, so that translation is not a concern. Delivers a nice pop here on that pass. He could have reacted a little bit quicker, but again, he looks natural in coverage. Another thing where I just want to see more film of him in that operation. Plenty of film here at the running back position. He looks very natural there. He spent a fair amount of time on the offense, both as a receiver and running back, primarily his junior year, I believe his sophomore year as well. First thing that stands out is his physicality. His ability to power through contact. It's really solid there. So if that can translate over to the defensive side, again, just kind of a lack of film there. But everything that he shows in his physicality on offense leads me to believe that that will be an area of promise on the defensive side as well. He's not a guy who's going to juke guys out of their shoes. He takes good angles and requires guys to tackle low to take out his legs. So he has a good combination of speed and athleticism, subtle jukes here and there to make it hard for defenders to get a clean shot on him. He shows nice little things here on this second to last clip. A nice little stiff arm. He does nice arm bars to kind of bar off defenders from getting into his body as well. So again, not elite speed, 4.6s, maybe high 5s on a good day. But again, he just does a lot of little things well. Again, nice little stiff arm there and pulls away a little bit at the end. So good combination for running back skill set. And again, plenty of film here as a wide receiver. Very natural in his ability here, maybe a little bit even more natural as a wide receiver than running back. Doesn't flash the best footwork or routes. He wasn't seemingly asked to do a whole lot. His team mainly asked him to go downfield and make a play. They utilized him quite a bit in the screen game as well, get him the ball, let him operate in space. But so nothing fancy that I saw from his wide receiver film. He looked very natural, very safe catching the ball. He didn't flash hands away from the body too much, but on higher passes, he was able to go up and get them. He has good timing on jump balls, body control in the air. That will translate really well to the defensive side when needed. So didn't see any acrobatic catches. Again, the higher technique, I didn't really see it, but it wasn't something that he was really asked for. He'll be better than I think a fair number of safeties with his natural receiving ability. And then a few plays here at quarterback. I am now obligated to show a clip from Friday Night Lights.
And he can pass!
Essentially Booby Miles here. But obviously this won't be used. But if they want to put him as a gunner for punts or as a up man for a fake punt option, that could be a good route to go with. But he can pass. The only bad I saw here, not really bad, something that isn't the best, he tended to throw himself low sometimes, roll into the legs of defenders instead of grabbing ankles, just something that may not work at the collegiate level where you want to see someone wrap up a bit more. So overall, I really liked his offensive film. I think he has a lot of skills that will translate well to the defensive side. I was just a little discouraged I didn't see more of him tackling, of him in coverage. I'm not exactly sure if he's best for the Viper or the strong safety position, given that lack of defensive film. So for his comparison, Demonte Thomas is a really easy one. He was 6'1", 190 out of high school. He was a top 100 recruit, right around 70th overall back in the class of 2013. As an athlete, he was a guy who was a big-time recruit and had pro baseball aspirations as well. He played running back, linebacker out of high school, really all over the place. Took a bit of time for him to actually break out at Michigan. Not until 2016 did he earn a starting role, but he performed really well. That was obviously a standout defense, and he was an undrafted free agent to the Broncos after that year. He reported a 4.50 at Michigan's Pro Day, vertical in the mid to low 30s. So he was on the Broncos from 2017 through 2019, currently a free agent. So he's a guy who I think RJ Moten is likely a little bit better of an athlete, if not a little bulkier. So he's a little different, where Demonte Thomas was a true safety, and you kind of have a more clear hybrid role here for RJ Moten. So that's possibly why Moten isn't as highly ranked, where Thomas slotted a lot better for a natural safety position. So I think the upside for RJ Moten is a little bit higher than Thomas, just because of those testing numbers, verticality. It appears the overall athleticism for RJ Moten is higher than Thomas, and I would expect that to translate to the pro game as these sort of hybrid roles are becoming more and more valuable. So for projection, I don't really know where he'll end up, honestly, and that's just because of lack of film. So 4.62 as a 40 is a bit scary as a true safety. I don't see the physicality right now on the defensive side. On the offensive side, if that running back physicality can translate to his defense, I think that'll be a great sign of his promise at the Viper position. If not, then maybe strong safety would be good for him. It is a lot more open on the safety side rather than the Viper side. You have Mike Barrett right now, who will have 2 to 3 years still at the Viper position. So after Dax Hill and Brad Hawkins are gone, there's a lot of open positions at the safety role that aren't filled right now. So I think strong safety might be the easiest path for Moten with his skill set. If he bulks up, he's already at 200 pounds. If he's at 215 and that physicality can move over, then Viper probably makes the most sense. It'll just, be a combination of where does he want to end up? What does his size do? Does he grow any? And those are all factors in whether he'll be a true Viper or a stronger safeties type of player. I'm a little bit concerned of him playing both baseball and football. Obviously, I'm really happy for him. He might have even better baseball potential than football, but that's a lot on a player's plate. So it may make sense to give him a red shirt just to ease him into things if Viper really is the role, and wait, 2 to 3 years before he really breaks into that. If he can contribute at safety and the coaches really like him in that role, Dax Hill and Brad Hawkins are already getting close to the end of their eligibility here, so it could be a case where you get him experience true freshman year, get him ready for 2021 onward as a true sophomore. So we'll see. It depends on how he grows, what the staff thinks he best projects at, but I think overall he's a great athlete. It's a really good get for the staff, and it's more of a matter of where than if for RJ Moten. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. Feel free to comment, subscribe, throw a like on the video. Let me know who you guys want to see next, either in the poll or the comments below. Besides that, thanks for watching. Stay safe out there, and as always, go Blue.